Hey dorks, just a quick message reminding you to head over to twitch.tv/mindgappodcast and give us a follow. We live stream when we record our new podcast episodes, and we're live streaming video game sessions on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. We're playing super rad stuff like Among Us, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, Jackbox games, and Tabletop Simulator. Come hang out and play along with us. That's twitch.tv/mindgappodcast.
Mind Gap Podcast.
Welcome to Mind Gap Podcast, everyone. My name is Doug.
And my name is Justin.
And we're so happy that you're here with us on whatever day it is, whatever time it is, whatever time of the year it is, whatever state of mind you're in. We're glad that you're here with us and we're here with you.
I agree. It doesn't matter if you're in a happy state of mind, in a sad state of mind, in a New York state of mind. Doesn't matter. We're happy to have you here.
This is an affirmations podcast episode. So
That's
get ready.
Very true.
We're going to talk about it.
We're going to tell you about how awesome you are and why you're good at your job and why you should feel the value that you bring.
More importantly, we're going to tell you if you're bald and it's sunny outside, why you should wear a hat, which is what I didn't do about a week ago. I was started out the day as like 40 degrees and raining, and it ended up 67 degrees and sunny. I was outside, and this head here got pretty burned. You can see a little bit of the remnants right here.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, I peeled off all of the skin yesterday. It was a real delight.
It's funny because when we were doing a production meeting, it was either the production meeting or the other meeting we had the other day, I thought it was just a glitch or like something on the screen. I didn't say anything, but yep, there it is. Yeah, that's exactly. I was like, something's red on Doug's head. Oh, well.
Right there.
That does not look fun.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good because what I noticed is when I shaved my head, a lot of the skin started coming off, and I'm like, oh, wow. And I was like, huh, and I shaved, and then I came down, I was like, I put lotion on, I'm like, wow, that really stings. That burns. That's hot. And it just kind of got worse, and then, I was like, well, whenever I need to shave, I'll just shave all the skin off my head, And then that sort of weakened it, and yesterday I was just peeling it off.
Did you let Natalie peel it off at all?
No. That's a dad's thing.
Skin as a kid is so much fun.
It's the best. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, peeling it as an adult, it's fun too.
I was like, I kind of had when I got like a good one. I was like, oh, I got a good one. It's like look at that. Woo!
That's going in the save box.
That's gonna go right in there with my chickenpox scabs. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. We'll come back to that later, and we will
pick it up on that.
We will put that in our pasta. As a nice little treat.
You know what? A lot of people don't understand how Italian restaurants get their pasta water seasoned so perfectly.
There you go. It's, scabs from chickenpox. And now, those aren't sun-dried dried tomatoes, y'all. Those are chickenpox scabs.
Look, not everyone watches as much Food Network as we do. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Pepperoni pizza?
About it.
Not pepperoni pizza. Chickenpox scabs. If
you watch that special Discovery Plus thing that Giada and Bobby Flay go to Italy, they covered that on that show.
That's right. Chickenpox scabs. Well, before we get started, let's start with some housekeeping, which I've forgotten to do the last couple episodes. Let's start at the top.
I'm not going to derail Doug at all. I'm going to let him get into this.
All right. So here's the deal, gang. I want to take a moment. It's that time again where we need to ask you a favor. All right. We don't ask this often. About once every 67 episodes, we bring this up, okay? It's very random, but it's very powerful, all right? And that is, if you're listening to us on the podcast, whatever you're listening to us, wherever you're doing it, please just take a moment and go and rate us and review us. Just take a moment. If you're on your iPhone, open it up and go to your little library and then just, click on the little rating, give it a rating, and then if you could just take a minute or two and just write a review. We don't care. Reviews. It'd be great. It would mean the world to us if you just take a second to do that because it affects, just our podcast, how it's viewed, and all sorts of stuff like that. So if you wouldn't mind, if you just take that moment and do that, we'd appreciate it. All right. Now that's out of the way. Don't forget, check us out on Spotify. We're there. That's all I got to say about that. We're there if you want to check that out. Also, come join our Discord server. Man, we got together as a group last night organically and played some special games, just Discord folks. And it was Genital Jousting, which is that game. That game, man, I don't even know if I could stream that on Twitch. I wonder if I'd get pulled for doing that. But I got to tell you, Justin.
Yeah.
It was everything I thought it would be and more. It's a game that you probably play once or twice, and you laugh your ass off, and then you're like, I don't feel comfortable playing this anymore after that.
My goodness. Okay.
Just the opening sequence is like, hey, just so you know, this game has a lot of penises. And then when it starts the title screen, you hear this big slapping sound, and it's a bunch of dicks that land, and they all form the title of Genital Jousting.
You know what it reminds me of? Did you ever watch? Did you watch Big Mouth or not?
I mean, I watched the first 2 seasons.
It's like Maury's, the hormone monster, Maury's dicks.
Yes.
Like what he calls his children.
Yeah.
Like it's just, he's got this like gaggle of dicks that follow him around. That feels very similar to how like I imagine these dicks moving.
Yeah, it was a wild game, man. Like you have to to start it, it's like hold down for consent. Like and you have it's like your consent meter's going up. And then we were just playing some party games and there so you're essentially a dick and balls, but at the intersection of your balls there's also a butthole. So what can happen most times is you can put your dick in someone else's butthole that's also their balls. And sometimes
that was what that screenshot of the human centipede was.
That's one of the games was to make a circle.
Right.
Like if you could get everyone in, or if it's just 2 of you, then you got the points. Sometimes you had to eat the most food, but you had to eat with your butthole, and the things that were dropping were brown, so it looked like you were eating poop through your butthole. It was wild, man. It was so wild. And I mean, I was laughing. It was strange. And it's weird, man. It's a weird game, but it was fun. And then we played Mount Your Friends, which was great. It was really good. Noah is a master of that game. It was very fun. And then we played golf with friends, which is a very wholesome game, which was very good. But all that to say, Discord, we come together, we play games, we have fun. It was a great time just hanging out, shooting the shit with everyone while we were playing these games. I was just streaming within our Discord so people could watch if they couldn't play, and it was very enjoyable. So come join our Discord. In order to do that, head over to twitch.tv/MindGapPodcast. In our About section, you'll find a little box that says Discord. Just click on that. You'll be invited right in. Come join us. Come hang out. It was great. It was so good. Also, don't you forget, we have merch on Redbubble. Head over to redbubble.com, search for Mind Gap Podcast, and you'll find all sorts of goodies you can have with the Mind Gap logo and the I Will Haunt Your Butt logo as well, which is really cool. So you can get yourself something really cool and also support the podcast all at the same time. And lastly, but not leastly, we stream video games every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Central Time at twitch.tv/MindGapPodcast. I don't know what the next one's going to be, but we've done lots of fun stuff. It's a great time. We usually try to find something fun to play either with you or just occasionally just be me fucking around on a game. But that's Saturday nights, 8 p.m. Central, twitch.tv/MindGapPodcast. Drop a follow and turn on the notifications so it'll let you know whenever we go live so you can come hang out with us, and it'll be a good time. So that being said,
I'm going to throw this in here at the top because I usually throw it at the bottom. I don't know how many people listen to our normal outro. So like you just did, I'm going to say, please, if you're listening to this and you like it, which I assume you do if you're listening, share us around. Copy the link from wherever you are or hit the share button, then copy the link and just post us out randomly. It doesn't even have to be on the newest episode. Just say, hey, it's the podcast I normally listen to. I think you guys will like this too. They're not safe for work, but they're wholesome. That doesn't go together. But anyway, it goes a long way when you guys can share us around. So please share the podcast.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes our housekeeping. Thank you for listening.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. So.
Yeah. Doug, speaking of belching and sipping on carbonated beverages,
Yeah.
Mountain Dew.
Right? Oh, right. That's what we're starting with. I already forgot. That's
you
what we're
already
starting.
let it go. Mountain Dew is reportedly releasing a cake smash flavor that tastes like dessert. Gross. It is called Mountain Dew Cake Smash, and on the bottle, it says, oop, I got to click on this. It says, "Dew with a rush of artificial cake flavor." And it sounds awful. Absolutely awful. You were a Mountain Dew head when you were younger.
No, I wasn't. That's false.
You weren't?
No, because of one of the dumbest reason was that the thing was that the yellow 5 killed your sperm. So everyone's like, "Don't drink it, man. It'll kill your sperm."
I thought you used to guzzle that stuff in lieu of coffee to wake up in the morning.
Nope.
That wasn't you?
Nope, that wasn't me. That was my roommate in college did that.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Every day on the way, we would all walk to class. He wouldn't have breakfast. He'd get up, grab a Mountain Dew, and we'd be walking. He'd be chugging a Mountain Dew. I'm like, oof. Yes, I was Surge. That's right, Slutty. I was a Surge guy.
Ooh, Slotty coming in with the knowledge.
That's right. I was a Surge man, and it was really, really good. I was pretty much a soda aficionado. Like, I tried just about anything I could. And I was really sad in more recently when I was doing facilitating my training classes as a corporate trainer. When I was feeling really tired before I had to go train, I'd be like, it's a Mountain Dew day, and I'd go get a 20-ounce Mountain Dew, and I'd drink it, and I hated how much I enjoyed it. Because actually what happened was I was going to get a Pepsi out of the machine, and I got a Pepsi and a Mountain Dew. I got a bonus one. And I was like, well, I'm not going to not drink this. Like, it's here. I haven't had one of these in forever. I'm like, oh, this is going to be gross. I drank it. I'm like, I don't like how good this tastes. Like, this is way better than I remember it being. And it became one of those things where, like, I don't like it, but if I need to infuse this into the day because I'm tired, I will. And I'm so glad I don't have that habit anymore.
That's where I remember you talking about it before. It wasn't when you were younger. It was when you were facilitating. That's what I remember, because you would come to the bar after we were done. And you would be like, you'd have your Pepsi, and you're like, I had to do a Dew again today. I did not like it. Like, I remember you would do it begrudgingly, which always cracked me up.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think back on my habits. Dude, I was having like a Pepsi a day, not even Diet Pepsi, just straight Pepsi a day as an adult. I'm like, man, what am I doing here? Like a 20 ounce? Ugh.
Yeah. With just one? I thought.
I mean,
like we were at assignment desk.
That was different. That was a little different.
That was different.
That was because I was drinking Coke Zero, which was different. For a second,
so much better.
I switched back over to like the full-fledged full sugar, and I was like, what am I doing, man? I remember drinking that, and I had one of my teammates go, I have a family member that died. When they look back and they saw what caused it, she made a mention that they just saw all the soda cans and all that sort of stuff, and I was like, thanks.
Cool.
And then I was like,
slurp.
As I drank it. The thing was, I knew. I was like, this isn't good, man. Yeah. This isn't good.
I've got family members who are specifically Diet Coke. Not Pepsi, not anything. It's Diet Coke. But just super fans. Like, if they could have had Diet Coke bed sheets and pillows, they would have done that. Diet Coke posters instead of Jonathan Taylor Thomas, they had, Diet Coke on their wall.
A nice sweating Coke on their wall.
So yeah, exactly. Like, just in like a bikini sitting on the side, suggesting that maybe the Coke can wore this. Why? I don't know. It's sexy. But like, I never understood, like, Diet Coke, just loved it. And look, it can be a refreshing drink, but I've never felt that kind of insane brand loyalty to a soda.
I definitely had preferences. Like, looking back, I went through a phase where Diet Coke was the shit, but I think I've always been a Pepsi person at heart, which I know is like, a real problem, regardless, because it's like, who gives a shit? But
right.
Yeah, I mean, soda used to be one of my greatest vices. Like, that was the one thing I loved soda. Yes. I was like, I can handle most things, but I didn't realize I also have an eating problem. But I was like, soda's my only vice. It's like, no, it's actually food, and sugar is your big vice. And actually, Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I remember when we would get together and stuff, like either for a party or a barbecue or whatever, you would get a giant, one of the largest tubs of Dean's sour cream and onion dip, giant bag of Ruffles, and you would have 2 liters of Coke, or Coke Zero or Cherry Coke Zero. One was Doug's and the other one was for the party. And I remember distinctly together housing that entire thing of dip and then you finishing that thing of Coke within the time that we were over at that thing. And I always just thought that's commitment. I never saw it as a problem.
See, here's the thing. That was always celebrated in my circle of friends. They're like, look at Doug go! It's like...
The way that people used to, spur people on to do keg stands is the way that Doug's friends used to spur him on to drink 2 liters of Coke.
Well, just anything, right? Oh, let's see if Doug can eat all this food. And I was like, you fucking right I can. And I would just dig into it. It's like, ugh.
That's how you ended up eating the quad burger that one time, is because I essentially challenged you to it.
Yeah, it was dumb. It's such a dumb thing.
Like, yep.
It's like, no problem. I did that with fries, and I think a milkshake. I think you're right. You mentioned that before. I think there was a milkshake involved, too. Like, good Lord.
I believe that is correct. And then I think we were like, yeah, I'll have 2 or 3 oatmeal cream pies as dessert.
What was that from? What was the name of the place?
Oh, it's Choppers. And they still have it. They're still up and running. You got to get, what you had to do is you had to get the quad burger, and then for a drink, you got Green River, the pop, which is just green sugar water.
Oh, Green River. I never really enjoyed that. I never thought that was really good. Either. I'm trying to see how many calories are in a quad burger. Oh my God. It's only $7 for a quad burger.
That should raise many red flags.
$7. It's a little bit less than the chop pack, which I don't even know what the fuck that is. But
wait, but does the quad burger, you can also get it loaded with stuff too, right? For
probably. Probably.
It just it's 5 fucking patties for $7. That is not good.
Oh, God.
Limited Rolo asks, do you like orange soda as much, Kel, from Keenan and Kel? Absolutely. When I was younger, orange pop was my thing.
I didn't mind the flavor, like those things like that, but I didn't find as much satisfaction. I found they left you, it obviously all soda does, it left me feeling more thirsty than when I started. It kind of left like a thirsty aftertaste.
Orange pop, really?
Yeah, I always felt like, oh man, this is really, really crazy. Orange soda is an A or S tier soda.
I don't get that.
They have these rankings that people put stuff in. Like S is like the super one. Then there's A, B, C, D, E, and whatever. So Slotty's saying it's one of the best.
It's the truth, Slotty.
Yeah, it's the truth. I love this article. I'm reading it from MSN. It says, it sounds like Mountain Dew is giving us the go-ahead to make any average day worthy of a celebration. It's especially appropriate from this past year. We're down to make up for it. As we await official information of the new soft drink, we'll be keeping our fingers crossed that it comes out sooner rather than later. But we'll fill you in as we knew more. I'm like, really? You're really excited. Caitlin Fitzpatrick.
If I find a 20 ounce of this, will you? I know you're off soda, but will you try it?
I'll try it. I won't drink it all, but I'll try it. I am curious.
Well, no, I'm not going to make you. I won't drink it all. I think after a sip that we're going to be like, all right, we've tried it.
Well, it's kind of like how you have like going to fucking Cold Stone, right? And they had like the birthday cake flavored. It's just, they put. It's just.
You don't like the birthday cake flavor, then?
I mean, I love birthday cake. I'm scared of this. Yeah. I'm scared of all of this. Like, I don't want to taste this and be like, yes, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to be good.
Feel like, as an addict, do you feel like that's going to have that same...
This is incredibly dangerous. Yeah, this is incredibly dangerous.
You think there's a chance this is going to be good?
I'm afraid that I'm going to like it. I'll lie and say that I don't. I'll never tell you that I do until like years later. I'm like, you remember when I tried that? I actually kind of enjoyed it because I don't want it to be good. Like it was like, like a fried Oreo or whatever. It sounds so absurd.
Oh, it was so good.
And you're like, I don't want this to be good because the thing is,
Snickers.
You stare at it, and you're like, I know this is going to be good, and I shouldn't like it because I know deep down this is going to kill me. Like this is not good. Right. I should not indulge, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm curious. This was battered and fried.
How could it be bad?
Tell me more.
Yeah.
We only get the original Mountain Dew here in the UK. I assume it's a cheap original version. I mean, original Mountain Dew is bad enough as it is. Like, you don't really need much else. Like, the whole Code Red or whatever other versions they have, it's not worth it, to be honest with you. It's really not worth it.
So Slotty says that the European or UK version of soda are better than the American versions. That's interesting. I
Is,
wonder.
is it
what the
because
difference
they take out some of the artificial and put in some natural things like birthday cake? They jam it in there, you know?
Well, like instead of the high fructose corn syrup, like anytime I've had something made with like true like cane sugar or something, it is definitely better.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. Like Mexican soda, you know, is typically better because they use, you know.
Yeah. It's not, I'm not one of those that can be like, if I took a sip of it, I wouldn't be like, cane sugar, I know this one.
Yeah.
But I definitely do enjoy the taste more, but I don't know in a blind taste test if I could tell you the difference.
Well, I also think that it's one of those things where I've seen like those Mexican sodas, and I always turn it down because I'm like, these bottles are smaller than the other ones. I'll get more if I drink the others. Why would I bother? Mexican soda is a lie. It uses corn syrup. Nothing's true. I don't know what to believe anymore. It's
that
wild.
was the first time Beth and I went to Mexico, and we went and went out for dinner the first night. We went and got tacos and, order a guac for the table. And the tacos, when they came, I think I got steak or chicken tacos, and they came and they were probably like little 4-inch tortillas, and it had like some chicken on it and like maybe a little bit of cilantro, and that was it. So it was onion, cilantro, and the chicken, and that was it.
Well, see, I appreciate that, you know?
I do too, but then I saw that, and I'm like, oh God, this is it? Like it was no bigger than like a CD size. Like it was that was the size of the tortilla. And then when they brought the chips and guac out, it was, and I'm not lying, it was like 6 chips and a small thing of guac. And it was the first time that I think it was the first time I had been out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken. Oh no, I went. Yeah, it was the first time I'd been to Mexico for sure, and it was the first time I had that realization as an adult. Had the realization of like, oh, this is why the rest of the world makes fun of us.
Exactly.
I get it now.
Yeah.
And it was so eye-opening. It was gloriously eye-opening for me.
That's how it was too. Like, you know, when I went to Italy, and I'm like, I can't wait to have this pasta because I was so used to the Olive Garden. You know, and I go there, I'm like, let's get some Italian food, and it's just completely different. Like, it's not, everything is usually, for the most part, like, it's a la carte, so you order different pieces, and then the pasta usually isn't the main course. It's a side. And when I got it, I'm like, why is this so small? It's just a little bit of pasta. I have to get some polo with this too, some chicken.
I want to be full.
But it was delicious, and I enjoyed it, but it was like a whole different, the portion sizes, I lost so much weight over there because A, I walked everywhere, and B, the portion sizes were so small, and it was a shock to my system. I was like, I'm hungry. I need more. Where are your buffets? And it's such a dumb...
Well, that was when I realized when we had breakfast down there at the hotel, they had a pastry, and it was like a chocolate croissant. It was normal size. Now there's a bakery just down the street that if I go and get a croissant, it's like this. It's humongous. Mm-hmm. So it's a normal size. It was a cup of yogurt with some granola. There was some fresh fruits, coffee, and something else. But it was all very light. And I was like, you do this, you go to the beach, you walk wherever you're going. Like I was like, I understand. I fully understand why people all over the world are in such better shape than we are. And it was, in fairness, it was refreshing because I was like, I could get used to this, like, because I felt good the rest of the day.
Yeah,
it wasn't like when I went and got a plate of bacon and a stuffed, what was that, mascarpone stuffed French toast?
Yeah,
and,
right.
Orange juice, and then we're gonna get a side of hash and of home fries. Yeah, it's crazy how overblown we do everything.
And Jared said, the side dishes I got at the U.S. restaurants are the same size as our main meals here.
There you go.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, I go to Costco, and I'm not here to judge, but there's a lot of overweight people at Costco. Like, and I'm one of those people. I'm overweight too. I'm working on it, okay? But when I walk
40 pounds down, buddy.
But when I look at what I just look around, I'm like, oh man, we have a problem. We have a real problem here where people are like, I'm getting this, wholesale size, thing of cake or here's a box full of 15 croissants. I'm gonna take that home with me. It is. And I mean, I love Costco because I love their fruit, and I love the fact that I get my oatmeal there, and I'm like, cool, I buy this, and then I don't have to buy oatmeal for like 2 months. It's great.
Right.
I get through it all. It's delicious, and saving some money. I love their steaks, but something about Costco, man, you go there, and there's a little bit of you dies. It's like the last time I went to Ryan's Steakhouse, the buffet in the Quad Cities, and I went in on a Tuesday. I think it was like
down there on John Deere Road.
Yep. It was like a Chinese like buffet day, and I went there like for lunch, and I got some stuff, and I sat down by myself. I went there by myself, and I looked around, and I just like sort of took in the clientele, and I was like, I don't ever want to be back here again. This is so sad. Like,
so you had in real time, you had your aha moment.
Yeah, I was like, this is gross. These people seem really sad to me, and I don't ever really want to come back here. Like, this isn't that great. Justin and I got to hang out in person just the other day, which was pretty exciting. And I said, you and I got to hang. Well, the reason why is because you and I were talking about this. Because I was saying the other day when we were hanging out, and you're like, huh? It was so sudden. I know.
It glitched a little bit too. The internet did. And so all I heard was, I looked around and those people were just gross and unhappy. And Justin and I got to hang out the other day. I'm like, wait, where was this?
Time out. What? What are you trying to imply, sir? Now, I was talking for 20 minutes. I know what you're talking about. You're like, I didn't catch that segue. No, the point being was that we were talking about that when we were hanging out in person. Was just the idea of like my whole thing was buffets were the shit because I could eat as much as I wanted for a small price, and it took my wife to be like, this isn't a good way to go about it, because I didn't grow up with a family that cooked. So for me, it was always quantity was everything, quantity over quality. And I didn't have an idea of what quality was. So it took me a long time to break that habit of consume all you can for under $10. Like, that was an insane concept.
Buffets to me, this is the same reason why I go out of my way to try to avoid eating at the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah,
is because if I walk in and to a buffet, Doug, and I go, Doug, tell me what's the thing that you see? Name something you see over there on the buffet.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be there's the nacho bar.
Cool. What else do you see on that buffet, Doug?
There's also a pizza bar.
Cool. What else do you see?
There's also an ice cream bar.
Okay. What else do you see?
Oh, there's the Italian section with you got your pastas.
Oh.
Yeah.
What else do you see?
There's also a salad section.
Okay, yeah. What else?
Let's see, what else do we got here? There's a Chinese section.
Exactly, and I think we've made our point at this point.
Yeah,
there's too many things for anything to be done well.
Yeah, nothing quite like going to Golden Corral and just seeing all the things that are there.
This is like eating your way around Epcot, but really, really gross.
But what people in rural Missouri think, the world is like, hey, here's some pasta, here's some spaghetti that's been sitting in water, in pasta water forever, so we pick it up and it essentially disintegrates. Right. We made some macaroni and cheese that's been sitting in its own stew. So when you pick it up, there's no flavor. It's bland pasta and just gross cheese sauce.
It's either mac and cheese soup or it's one block of mac and cheese that comes up on the spoon.
I'm going to share with all of you the same story I shared with Justin, but I'm disappointed in the fact that my mom allowed me to do this, but I would go to Golden Corral in my hometown, and I would make monstrosity concoctions out of there. And one of the ones that I remember doing was I remember taking the gross, soggy, very not al dente spaghetti, putting it on my plate, and putting the cheese sauce from the nacho bar on top of it. Or sometimes I would swap out the spaghetti for rice, and I would just pour this nacho cheese sauce on top of it. And I'm like,
Doug,
why?
Really, how is spaghetti with nacho cheese sauce on top, how is that any different than mac and cheese? That's just a variation.
Let me tell you, okay?
Yeah.
This is nacho cheese sauce, all right? This is not regular sauce that you would make from cheese. It was monstrous. And the fact that I would just do that. And my mom was like, I mean, what are you going to do? You know, no, like, no, it's just.
No, you shame your child if they do that. You shame them.
I'm thinking back to just the quality of the food. And even then, a part of me knew this is pretty gross, but I was like, oh, it's macaroni and cheese. I like macaroni and cheese. I'm going to eat this, knowing full well it was fucking disgusting. It was so gross. It was. Because the other one we went to was Ponderosa. And I just remember, I could picture exactly what it looked like. Pale yellow with big shells that break apart because they have been sitting in liquid for so long they don't hold a shape. You slap it on your plate, you eat it, there's no flavor. It is the whitest white people food you could ever imagine. It is so gross.
You know that when they close for the night, when that last shift is done, they don't throw things away and make them in the morning. They take them back to the back. They put saran wrap over them. If you're lucky, they get to the fridge or the freezer, and then they get taken out the next day and popped right back into that lukewarm water and heated back up.
Well, you made another good point, too, which was, you know, you have all these different styles of food. Are you really going to make any of them well? Like,
no.
Probably not.
In and go, I have my choice between Asian food, Mexican food, Italian food, like straight up like American Texas barbecue food.
Pizza.
Pizza. Yeah, when you've got all these different. Hey, look, there's fish and chips. Don't eat the fish and chips.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's crab leg night. And you get the smallest crab legs in the world. It's like you could get your own cracker utensils, and it's like crack, and you're like, you barely get any freaking crab out of it, and they charge you an extra $6 for the buffet because it's all you can eat shitty crab legs.
There was crab seasoning on that one. That was good. Old Bay.
Ugh.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with like it's the Cheesecake Factory too. When like each page is a different restaurant. I'm like, you can't be doing that well. And also, what kind of living hell is that kitchen?
Right.
Like all these people trying to be like, what are we making?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We got a hot dog. We've got cheddar soup. We've got pizza au gratin. We've got steak. It's just like everything. Matzo balls. We got. It's all order up.
Why you know that you're not getting stuff that was cooked? You're getting stuff that was warmed up. All of that stuff is. There's a reason it tastes like you're getting something out of from Costco that someone popped in the deep fryer or the oven, because that's the only way they get to do that. It's the only way they can make that.
I remember there was a delivery place that we would recommend late night at the hotel. It was called Rinaldi's, and I liked their pizza there, but they also did fried chicken. They also did Italian and pasta. They also did tacos. They also I was like, their menu, I was like, there's no way you guys are good at all of these. Like, there's no way. There's no possible way.
Like Slotty said, I avoid places with large menus for the same reasons. There have been places where I've been looking on Beth and I've been like, hey, where do you want to order from? And I'll pull something up. And if I see more than 2 different styles of cuisine, if there's more, like, I'll give you 2 because maybe you're, maybe you're some sort of a fusion place. But if there's more than 2 styles of cuisine, I'm on to the next place because I'm like, I don't trust it. I don't trust what you're doing here.
No, yeah. It's very rarely does that work out. Yeah. And
Limited Roll says too, I thought the Cheesecake Factory just did cheesecake. Oh no. Mm-mm. They, in fairness, their cheesecake was good for cheesecake, but
yeah, but you could also choose a different dessert, any other dessert, which is infinitely better than cheesecake. Well, can we agree on that? Cheesecake is...
I like cheesecake.
That's fine, but there are so many other better desserts to choose from.
There are other desserts, yes.
Yeah, way better desserts than cheesecake. If cheesecake is the only option, sure, I'll eat it. But like, yeah, Noah gets it. Cheesecake, more like balls cake, right? Yes. I'm just like, it's like cake, pie, ice cream, cheesecake. Which one are you choosing? I'm like, all of them over cheesecake because fuck that shit. Like, give me a brownie. Give me just about anything else. I will eat it if there's no other option, but I will do it begrudgingly because it's pretty meh to me.
You know, I wish to Christ that my soundboard was.
I was like, I was immediately just thought, we got to throw that on the Twitch like points board.
Yeah.
We got to do that.
Yes, we do. Yes. All right, so now
Question.
we're getting questions from overseas, and I like this.
Let's
I like
do it.
this section of the show.
Yes.
Ask an American is what we'll call this.
Yes.
So the
Ask
question-
about our fast food franchises.
right. Yeah, ask an American is just tell us about how bad the Cheesecake Factory is. What about fast food franchises? How big are your portions? We suck over here.
Yeah.
All right. So Limited Roll goes, question, is Wendy's any good? I feel like Doug and I have varying opinions on this. So Doug, why don't you go first?
Oh, you're getting one over there. Interesting. Jared says I had bad Wendy's in the Dallas airport. Not bad for airport food. Here's what I'll
I
say.
had Wendy's, not bad Wendy's.
Okay, there we go.
Wendy's in the Dallas airport, not bad for airport.
Here's what I'll say. As far as if I were to put this in a tier, kind of like the similar tier that Slotty threw out, I'd say Wendy's. I would put Wendy's probably in an A or a B. Like I think it's pretty decent because their burgers do taste better than most of the other ones. I know they talk about how it's fresh, and things like that. And Slotty's right. They have one of the best Twitter accounts, bar none.
Unrivaled. I think, best Twitter accounts in regards to personal and business. Like, they just win Twitter.
Yeah. If I'm on the road and it's like, oh, I have to eat fast food, what's available? McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Wendy's. I'm choosing Wendy's every single time. Like,
yeah,
I like their burgers. Their fries are average. Their Frosties are delicious. Like, it's pretty.
For me, it's their fries, their spicy chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Like, that is I had a buddy of mine who we are notoriously spicy chicken sandwich fanatics from Wendy's. We both in high school would house those. And he said he just tried McDonald's and he goes, I should have just ordered a burger from McDonald's or a fucking, large. He goes, it was not worth the calories.
He just shouldn't have gone to McDonald's. I mean, that would have been a better option.
Well, they were touting the new spicy chicken sandwich they have. He thought, maybe it didn't work. So Wendy's is I would put them in an A tier for me as far as fast food goes. Because
it's also like, what else do you consider fast food? Does Culver's fall into the fast food? Because I think it does.
They have a drive-through. I mean,
they do.
It's hard. If they have a drive-through, I feel like you have to put them in that category, right?
Because it comes out fast. It does.
It does, yeah.
Culver's to me, S tier. Like, it's up there, man.
Yes, and I would say you have to, because, I mean, if you look at their model, like, they have, you can't, Wendy's, McDonald's, they all have sit-downs. Culver's has a sit-down. Culver's has a drive-through. Those two have drive-through. So everything points to it's just an elevated version of fast food. So, yeah.
They have amazing burgers. They have amazing cheddar bites, so little fried cheese balls. They've got great... they've got concretes, for their ice cream, which are delicious. Like, it's the only thing I'll say is their soda tastes like shit. I usually don't notice that, but it is always flat. No matter, every single time I go, whatever place, whatever location, their stuff tastes flat. And I don't know why, but it does. But outside of that, what the fuck is a concrete? It's like Dairy Queen Blizzard. It's something.
But it's super thick.
Yes,
right?
it's like a custard. Yeah, it's a custard.
Yeah,
and it's really fucking good, man. It's delicious.
It's not like a shake that you can drink with a straw.
Yeah,
like that is. It's
spoon required.
It's a necessity. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
I can't say the last time it has to have been about at least 10 years since I ate at a Culver's. I can't tell you the last time I was there.
Culver's used to be like a road trip thing. Like, when we would go back to see my parents, we'd always stop off us in this particular town. I even couldn't tell you what it was. It was like mile marker 101 on the way. I always knew that's where it was. And we would stop there. We'd get Culver's. Natalie started, there's a couple Culver's around where we live. She's like, can we get some Culver's? And it's fucking delicious. Yeah. Now, here's another one for you. Another question. How do you rank Five Guys?
Five Guys is, I would say, S level. For me,
it is.
That burger is shockingly hard to beat.
Yeah, I'll say this much about them: like, all around food, fries, like, they're very, again, specific menu, right? They know what they're good at. They do it. Yep. I don't think it's worth the price, though. That's my only beef with the burger.
Nice. Oh, this guy with jokes. I would agree that every time I go there, like, because again, like if you get, and the thing is, I always end up like I'm full. Like so, you're getting a very good amount of food, but I do agree that it could be if it was like $2 cheaper per menu item. I feel like that'd be like right in the sweet spot. Because
Yeah.
if I'm going to pay that money, I may as well pay $2 or $3 more and go get like a straight up burger from one of my local joints. You know,
I agree, because that's for me where I'm like, it is special, but because of the pricing for what I get, it's good. I probably would put it at an A, because I would rather than just go to a bar or a pub and spend $10, $11 and get a legit burger, because I do like that Five Guys will give you, it's one straight price. You put as much on it, whatever you want, you get it. And I love all the options that you can put on there. It's really good, but it's so fucking expensive. Like, goddamn, it's expensive.
Now, what they make up for though is again, someone mentioned it. I think Slotty mentioned it in the chat here. Is when you order like a medium fry, you get the medium fry, and then they do an extra scoop, and they just they smack it in there. You're getting a bag of French fries, more than anyone should be consuming.
Yeah, and I will say this: they do pride themselves on making those fries fresh, and it comes through. You know, it really shows.
What I found out in the pandemic is that they don't cook your fry. Like your order's not. They'll make your burger and they'll put it to the side, but they won't start your fries until you come and check in.
See,
and
that's
say, hey, I'm here to pick up my order, and they go, cool. Be about 2-3 minutes, and they'll drop your fries, and then you're good. I'm like, I like that.
That's what I used to do when I lived down in the city. Is we would order on the app, and when we'd show up, they're like, Doug's here, and then they'd start making the fries, because they wouldn't make them in advance. They wanted them hot and fresh, and I always appreciated that. I was like, those were really good nights when we get that, even though we'd spend $35 on 2 burgers, 2 fries, and 2 drinks. Jesus Christ, so much.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, too, the price jumps astronomically when you do their double burger.
Oh, God,
which is their regular burger. Like, if you get a junior, which is their single, it's actually pretty, like, normally priced. Like, it'd be like it's a step down. Hardee's is the same thing. Their burgers are so jacked up, too, price-wise.
Yeah.
But I feel like, it's weird how that one extra patty just put so much extra cost on there.
Yeah, I have to say, like, in general, I'm not a fries guy. Like, if it's special, I notice, but for the most part, I'm like, fries are fries, and I find them more disappointing than not. But I'm kind of married with gaming here, which is Five Guys fries is just phenomenal. So good.
Five Guys, I do not like anything else at Arby's normally, but their curly fries
All right, where are we ranking Arby's on the tiers?
I mean, again, I think someone else said that it's food by definition. Like, sure, it's food.
I'll be honest with you. I think
tell you the last time I went to Arby's.
I think I've been to Arby's like maybe twice in my entire life. Like, and I don't really recall much of it other than I enjoyed their curly fries. That was about the only thing that stands out to me. So
now, Checkers, have you had their fries?
I think I ate at Checkers once or twice when I was in college in the Quad Cities. But
they're good. They're one of those fries that after you eat a couple, you're like, yeah, these are good.
Yeah.
And then after that couple, you're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like that return on investment just flips real quick.
That's so funny. Slotty says Arby's is straight F tier. And I gotta say, hey, shout out to my mom. We got an Arby's in Kirksville, Missouri. Shout out, I was gonna do our area code 660. They got the Arby's over there, and my mom let me know she was working through the menu at Arby's. So, I mean, this is days, maybe weeks' efforts of she's going and trying everything on the menu. So
you get it, Mrs. Cochran.
You get it. You get that Arby's. You tell us. You let us know how it is, and let us know also how are your shits, how leaky is your butt. After eating all those Arby's, what's your cholesterol like? Are you feeling bloated? How's the sodium? How we doing here?
How we doing?
How we doing? Yeah. That's my hometown for you. Where an article gets written where they're like, the KFC is reopening, but in a different location. Well, okay, interesting. We got a question from Limited Rolo. Sorry to change the subject, but
first off, Limited Rolo, we love you and come back as much as you can, because this is you're asking some solid questions, and you might have overtaken Zenny for steering the podcast in your own direction.
Yeah.
So kudos.
Yeah, and if you guys ever want to try and steer the conversation, head over to twitch.tv/mindgappodcast and hit that that notification bell and follow us and come and join us for this. But Limited Rolla asks, sorry to change the subject before I head out. I was just wondering, can I ask, what are your 5 tips to a good podcast? What a great question. I think I'd start with one. Justin.
Don't do anything we do.
First one, a curated fart soundboard will take you farther than you think it would. That's the very first one.
To the moon.
To the moon.
Yes.
In all seriousness, I would say audio quality has to be up there. It has to be good. I don't know if you have ever heard a podcast or a video that has shitty audio. To me, it's immediately turning it off. And I can't handle it. I can't handle something. Now, given the pandemic, I have a lot more forgiveness because people are trying to make it work with what they have. But if you have good, or if you are like, hey, I'm going to record in my bathroom, and you just hear the echo all over the place, it's like, nah. You gotta find a good way, invest in a decent mic, and actually have good sound quality. Otherwise, I ain't in it to win it.
I think the other tip I would give is just be true to yourself. Don't try to steer it to be like, oh, people will like this thing. What do you want to do? Like we don't know if anyone likes what we do, but we do it. We've been doing it for almost 6 years now. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's very true. And do it because you want to. It's really easy to start up a podcast these days, and don't give a shit whether or not anyone listens to it. That was my big thing when we started doing this. I was like, who's going to even listen? And then at some point I was like, who cares? Let's just fucking do this, and let's just have fun.
Well, and eventually people will find you who like what you're doing, whatever it is that you are doing. And like we've got our core group of super fans that show up every week, and it's our community, and we love our community. They're the goddamn best. And, they found... They're touched in the head just like we are.
Hey, we're connected.
We fit together.
And if you watched our game last night, genital jousting, you realize we're connected in more ways than one. And
speaking of touching heads,
yes, it was very good. I'd also say this was Justin's big one for me. It was just consistency. Like if you're going to do a podcast, make sure it comes out on a consistent basis so that people can trust and know that it's always going to be there. It's always going to be
key.
Yes, and we're very proud to say that in all of our episodes, we've only missed 1 week, and that 1 week was intentional, and that was pretty cool. We've had something come out every Thursday for we're coming up on almost 300 episodes, so that's a pretty proud thing to have happen.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. What's one last one we could give? I don't know if that's 5.
Last one?
Yeah.
Put some thought into it.
Yeah, a little effort goes a long way.
Yeah, it may seem like we kind of just are, hey, whatever we want to do, we get here.
And we did that for a while.
We did that for a long time, but we noticed a measurable change when we started actually putting thought and prep work. We do pre-production meetings every week now. And here's the thing. We have an entire list that we have not gotten to yet of topics because we found something that just rolled, but and sometimes that happens, and you got to be ready. But if we didn't find this thing, if we weren't off to the races and did an entire episode on fast food, we had a list of things that we were ready to talk about. So prepare, and that way, if you get stuck, you got something to go to. But if not, then you're just having fun.
For the record, I've stopped posting what we'll potentially talk about, like when we announce our stuff, because I'm like, I don't know if we're going to get to that. We have not gotten to anything that we've laid out in our pre-production meeting at all. Nothing. We've barely teased one thing that we've talked about. And the thing is, that's also what I love about what we do, is that we have always been able to find a thing that we want to talk about, and we just go for it, and everything else be damned. That's why we call this Mind Gap, because we just go on a tangent and we see where it takes us. And when that tangent ends, we start somewhere else. But this one's really taking us down the food aisle.
Oh yeah, and we're shopping cart is full, and we are going for it.
Yeah.
This is turning into Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives podcast. The last 2 episodes. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm into it.
Is it better a live podcast or recording? I don't know. I mean, we've sort of, with the pandemic, we really leaned.
Nice hybrid.
It is a nice hybrid. We sort of leaned into this. We started doing Twitch kind of as a kind of on a whim, just to start doing it. And, you know, I've always said we were in the basement of a bar on Justin's phone, and it wasn't the best quality, but we did it, and we slowly started, like, you know, finding people that would watch us. It wasn't much, but it was something. And then once the pandemic hit, we really leaned into this because we had to do it remote anyway. So we thought, why not really lean into Twitch? Let's up our production values. I, you know, invested in some gear and some stuff like that. We added a video game night and things like that. So I like the live element of it. We had always talked about doing a live show. That was actually one on our goals, is to host it at a theater and have people show up. And now we get to do it every week, which is pretty cool and pretty exciting. And we actually get to have this conversation like we're having with you right now because it's happening live, which can be a little discombobulating to the listeners maybe, but also y'all can come hang out with us too.
Look, here's the thing. Like when I was before we started doing these live streams on Twitch, when I would listen to like How Did This Get Made and things like that, their studio episodes versus their live episodes. I'd take their live episodes every day of the week, and I wasn't there. I wasn't in that energy of the live episode, but I did truly enjoy the audience interaction, and I enjoyed them going on tangents with the audience. So I think, sure, you could argue that it's kind of weird for the listener to be like, oh, there's a whole conversation I'm not seeing going on. And you know what? I don't think that matters because it's still fun. If you're listening to the podcast, you enjoy what that person is doing, or those people are doing, and you're going to have fun with them no matter what, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I've always enjoyed just interacting with people and the chat, and just, you know, I've always enjoyed performing to some extent, which has always been fun. And it's so funny because even in work, at my last job, when we would have meetings, people would always be chatting using the chat function while we were talking. That always fucking pissed me off because it's so distracting to see boop, boop, boop. And I'm like, will you fucking quit typing while someone else is talking? This is so fucking distracting. But I also got to the point where it felt like I was on Twitch, because I would open up the chat panel, I'd be talking, I'm like, oh yeah, Tad says this, and then, or one time, like, one of the people that was supposed to be hosting the meeting could only be there, like, listening. They couldn't talk because there was construction going on in their house. So I essentially was just talking, and I would check the chat, and I was like, so-and-so says this, and I go, God, this feels like my Twitch channel. Like, I feel like I've been doing this for over a year, because I have. It's so much fun. It was so exciting. I'm like, oh, yeah, this feels very natural.
That's normalized, yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Good about it now.
Yeah, I feel good about it.
Those would be our tips.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about starting one, let us know, because we'll check it out.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and you know, we had Rob, that was his name, right? From
Libsyn?
Yes.
Rob Walsh.
There it is. And his insight, if you haven't, go back and check that episode out. I mean, that guy, that guy's in the perfect job, because he just loves podcasts. To his core, just loves them. And his advice, which I love, was essentially like, don't overthink it, just do it. Like, do whatever you want and keep it going. Like, he kind of squashed a kind of a preconceived notion that I had about podcasts, was that everyone has one. He's like, they may, but only about 500,000 are actually active on a good day. There's 500,000.
I used that in a sales call the other day.
Nice. And he's like, because so many people start them, and the first one, they're good. The second one, they're like, I don't know what else to talk about. And the third one, they're like, I really don't know what to talk about. And then it's over. And
I think he said there's about 4 million registered podcasts. And out of that, it was 400,000 to 500,000 are active.
Yeah. He's like,
it's a very small percentage.
Yeah. He said on a good day, it's like probably 500,000. You have a podcast, so I'm just not prepared for it, and I know there's a lot of room for improvement. Well, that's cool. Well, Limited, if you don't mind, let everyone know in the chat what your podcast is. If you try to post a link, Nightbot will probably shoot it down, but please feel free to share what it is. We'd love to check it out.
Name of it?
Yeah, show the name of it.
Put the name. We can. We're all Google savvy.
Yeah, that's
find it there. Yeah.
Zinni says, just had a wacky idea. Doug wears a gift bow on his head for one podcast. Why? Just because?
Yeah, why not? Do it.
I've done that.
Do it.
Okay, I'll do it. Jesus. Yeah.
Man. Gotta twist this guy's arm for everything.
Yeah, seriously, it's so easy now to do a podcast. Like, just if you have an inkling and you have time, fucking do it. And let us know. We'd love to listen to it.
called Funk Runner, FUNKRUNNER, Funk Runner on YouTube.
Runner.
Well, I think the other thing too is that like you look at someone like Bill Burr, and he started his podcast, this Monday morning podcast, just rambling into his phone. You know, like that's all he had, and maybe he got a little adapter that he plugged in, and he talked into that, and then he got a setup where he was actually had a mic that he was plugged into his phone, and he could walk around his hotel room like he was doing stand up, and then he has the next tier where he sits down at a desk. So he grew his thing, but you could just start doing it with any. It's the same thing they talk about film. They say. It's not about all the toys and all the equipment. It's about the story. If you have a good story, pull out your phone and start recording, because this shoots just as good of image quality as most, prosumer cameras out there. So same with podcast. If you have an idea for an artistic thing, just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just do it and just, lock into it and commit yourself to it. And it can be a slog sometimes. It can be a real grind. There are weeks where we do all this sort of stuff. I'm like, I really don't feel like ripping the audio and editing it, and then also creating, the video episode for YouTube, and then uploading it, and then, fortunately we have our producer who helps us do the write-ups, and there's a lot that goes into it, especially when you're doing it, you don't see a lot of traction. But again, that's why you got to do it, because you want to do the thing that you want to do. And if you don't, if you're kind of doing it for a reason, like I'm going to do a serial podcast about murders, like it's gonna be one of those things where a lot of people do that, but if you're trying to do it because you think that's what's gonna get the hits, it's like, I don't know, you might burn out on it real fast. So man, it'll be good. Limited roll, we'll check that out. If you're all listening, go to Funk Runner on YouTube. They've got all their stuff up there. I'm happy to check that out and see what you're all about. See what's going on.
The last thing I'll say, I forgot, this is one of my big ones I always tell people, is because Jared had mentioned this here, and it's a really good point. He said, as a huge podcast fan, my tip would be don't be precise about your time. Have a rough time limit, but let it flow and feel natural. I would also say, to add to that, shorter to start. It's easier to increase the time than decrease the time. If you start and you're like, I'm going to give you guys an hour-and-a-half podcast every single week, and then after like 10 of them, you're like, that's too much. I can't keep this up. I'm going to do 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It can be jarring to your audience because they've expected every single week I get an hour and a half. So start with a 20, 30-minute podcast and commit to once a week, once every 2 weeks, but commit to that schedule and that time. And again, you can make it loose. It can be 20, it can be 40, but right around that 30 range. And then once you start to feel comfortable, either increase the frequency that they're coming out or increase the length of time that each podcast is, or both. But it's always easier to grow than it is to retract. That's what I'll say.
But I think we started out doing like 40 minutes or so, and that was kind of
Our first one was like a half hour, and within the first 20, we jumped up to an hour, I feel like.
And now we're consistently over an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half, and it feels good. It feels right. Yeah. Sometimes I wish it was longer, but people have lives.
That just we could talk for 3 hours easily.
Yeah, exactly.
We could pull a Rogan.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I can't imagine doing 3-hour podcasts all the time, but there's definitely times where I'm like, I'd really like to do this.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Which is pretty cool. I think.
Again, thank you for stopping by, Limited Rollo.
Yeah, that was great, man. Thanks for letting us know. We would be happy with 3 episodes. All right. Well, we'll take that. We'll take the notes. We'll see. Maybe we could do like a fun long one sometime. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, we should do kind of like how Noah did his 24-hour stream. Should we do a 24-hour podcast, Doug?
Boy, you all do not want to see me try to do that.
No?
Nope. That would be just 24, maybe 50 minutes of good content. The rest would just be absolute drivel and nonsense. And I'd just be like, can I go to sleep, please?
I think we could go.
Oh my God.
I don't know, man. Do you think we could make a 12-hour podcast?
No, I would say we'd probably 4. I'd say we could probably get. First of all, I can't do it. I sure shit know you can't do it either, without a doubt.
If we committed to a time and we scheduled it, that could be a different story. It's not like we just 1 week go, hey, let's just do a 10-hour podcast today.
Dude,
we'd have to schedule it. It'd be an event for charity.
Oh my God. Like,
I'm just saying, but we'd have to circle in guests. It wouldn't just be us. Like,
Yeah, that would be an event. Like we'd have to. Oh my god, I can't imagine.
Yeah,
we would need like another person to help us like get people in and run the board, so to speak. Like,
oh, absolutely,
that would be
yeah.
absolutely. How many throwdowns will we get?
Well, I feel like that's. Oh man, would that be a throwdown? Wouldn't be a throwdown and out. You know what? That would be the perfect time to start doing the throwdown bracket.
Yeah.
If we have that amount of time, because for a long time I've been wanting to do a throwdown bracket where we put all of our 300 up to almost 300 throwdowns into a tiered system and try to determine a singular winner. I started trying to figure out how many we'd have to do per episode, because I'm like, the thought was, I was like, well, if we do 2, it would take 150 weeks.
Yeah.
To do 2 for, I'm like, well, that's too many weeks.
That's too many weeks, man. That's like too many weeks.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years to get through it all. Oh my god.
So I was like, oh, we'd have to increase this. So this stream might be a perfect this charity stream, which we've now committed to.
Man, that would be an undertaking. I'm not saying absolutely no to it.
You're nervous about
well, here's
it
the thing. Not 24 hours, 8 maybe. I think maybe
Okay.
8. That would be.
Yeah.
Whoo! That would be wild. That would be absolutely wild. That'd be interesting. Let's do it for our 300th episode.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. We got a couple weeks.
Yeesh. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. That would be intense.
That would be intense. But before we sort of wrap things up, I just want to say, Justin and I got to see each other in person. We got to hug, and it was delightful. And
it was wonderful.
It was so amazing to actually get to see you again, and first time in 15 months. And but the best part too, at the same time, is like I feel like we didn't skip much because we meet every week.
I had the same thought. I was just like, this is going to be epic. And we got together. I'm like, oh, this is like another hangout at Doug's place.
Yeah, right.
It took me a while to process. I'm like, well, it's because we've been talking daily.
Yeah.
Like video conferencing 2 or 3 times a week and then talking daily for the last 15 months. So we really haven't taken a break from each other.
Yeah.
So, but I'll say this, what you guys don't understand by looking at Doug on screen here is just how good he looks in person now.
Thanks, man.
He has lost 40 pounds and he looks like it. And again, I can't tell you look thinner, but like when I walked through the door and I was like, where'd your frame go? It was just a shirt hanging there on shoulders. And I was like, holy shit. That was what really hit. So that was the coolest part, was to see that change, you know?
I appreciate that, man. That's what's 40 pounds in normal units? What do you want me to do? Stone? I'm sorry. What's that in stone?
Right, yeah. What's the normal units? Is it kilograms?
But
hey,
yeah.
Siri, how many tons is 40 pounds?
40 pounds is 0.02 tons.
So yeah, Doug, it was amazing to walk in and see you 0.02 tons down. It was incredible.
Thank you for doing that in tons. That's very helpful. Yeah. No, I have to say, it was nice to share a meal with you, because one of my favorite things to do is the whole time through the pandemic, as I was trying out all these new recipes and all these sorts of things, is like, I can't wait to have someone over so I can cook for them. Like, I want them to enjoy just something that is going to be delicious, and I always overdo it. I cook way too much food, but I'm like, I get so pumped. I got so excited. All week I was like, all right, am I going to do steaks or am I going to do pulled pork? What else are we going to do? We're going to have a lot of fruit. We got to have some vegetables. Jill, you're going to make a salad. Cool. And what's the treat? We haven't made these cookies in a while. Let's make some cookies. And it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And the pulled pork was so perfect. I started it at midnight. It got done with plenty of time.
Insane.
Oh, dude, I've been eating it every day.
It was insane.
So good. It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so nice to see you and Beth and Sam and everything. It was just great. It was such a nice time. It was a beautiful day. We got to eat outside. And yeah, Slotty, your biggest fear is you'll never get to cook for either. I want to meet you, Slotty. At some point, we got to make this happen, man. We got to make this happen, because I definitely am down to have some of your food, pal.
Your biggest fear is that you'll never get to cook for either of you guys unless we just stop talking one day.
Yeah, right?
We've literally got the rest of our lives to make this happen.
Yeah, and also,
Feel good.
you're not scared of spiders or anything? Like, that's your biggest fear? Like, good for you, I guess. Yeah, Noah, you got to come down too, man. He says, I'll cook for Slotty while he's cooking for everyone else. Hell yeah. We've got to do a Mind Gap get-together. When this shit comes over, we got to get the Discord community together.
Oh, boy.
We all got to come in, and we got to come hang out, man. We got to make this happen.
Mind Gap barbecue.
Let's do
Mind
it.
Gap cookout.
I've seen other people do that. For Sale 18.
A Mind Gap family reunion.
Yes.
And we'll have special shirts made and everything.
Yes. And we'll stream portions of it. It'll be great. It'll be so much fun. I know
that's cool, man.
For Sale, who was on here, he does that like a couple of times a year. He gets his community together. They usually do something for Halloween or something, like they all come and hang out. Like, man, I love it. That sounds like so much fun. We'll have to figure something out and see if we can get everyone to come hang out, man. It would be so much fun. We'll take turns cooking.
We'll make sure we plan it far enough in advance so you can make it in.
Yeah, and you can bring Metronome with you too. I'd love to see him. Spiders are our friends until they eat the cat. That's absolutely right. You know what else? You think about spiders and cats eating each other. It really gets me thinking not only just about, the circle of life, but really the one thing.
Welcome to the Throwdown.
I didn't do that one very well. I thought it was ready to go and it wasn't. I clicked on it. It's like, oh, you have to play it. I'm like, shit. And then I just sort of stopped mid-sentence. But hey,
I would have gone the Mind Gap get together into here's another thing we can do together. Mm-hmm. That would have been my transition.
Yeah, I panicked. I was like, I have to get there now. We have to do this. We have to do this now. We don't have time. Let's go.
Yeah.
Woo! So let's go to maybe the 5% of stuff that we planned for on this episode. And
I also like how we finished the episode back on food.
Yeah, right? This is a very food-centric episode.
It really is. Cool. So
and I'm all for it. This week, this is a Discord-suggested throwdown, by the way, coming from our very own community. This week, we have an 80s cartoon throwdown featuring Reno from the Thundercats versus He-Man from He-Man. Ta-da!
It's just not the same. All right, so tail of the tape.
All right, let's start. You do He-Man because I want to do Reno.
Done. All right, we'll kick it off with He-Man, shall we?
Yes.
By the power of Grayskull, I give you He-Man's powers and abilities. Superhuman strength. So He-Man is characterized by his immense strength, but it is rarely the specific weight that he can lift. I don't think is ever really addressed. But he's very, 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 very strong. The other thing is, though, he's largely non-violent and only resorts to combat as a last resort. He'd rather use his brain muscles. Superhuman reflexes. He's got leadership abilities, and he's got a sword of power, which is virtually indestructible and can deflect rays, magical or technological. It can also shoot energy beams out, and it can absorb energy. This is my favorite part of the He-Man write-up. Due to the limitations of his clothes, he can rarely carry large items with him. He can only fit one. He's been depicted as being able to blow using the full capacity of his lungs, a gust of wind so powerful to knock over most opponents. He can transform himself into a human tornado, ability to run at high speed, creating a vacuum, and the ability to rub his hands together so fast he can turn sand into glass. So that is He-Man. Very strong leadership and reflexes. That's the big takeaways.
One of my favorite things, especially talks about his limitation to carry large items. It says the 1980s cartoon depicts He-Man sometimes carrying items in his chest plate and in some cases his belt. This has caused some irritation with fans who consider the latter cases embarrassing to the character. Because we're so concerned about what's going on with him.
I also love the fact that the cartoon gave He-Man a number of powers that many fans considered silly or over cartoonish. It was a fucking cartoon.
Right. Also a cartoon in the 80s, no less.
Right.
Like,
Holy.
all right.
Anyway, tell us about Lion-O there, Doug.
Lion-O has some very specific strengths. So he's very strong, almost as strong as Panthro. Don't know who that is? Me either. He's capable of lifting and moving heavy objects like rocks and machinery. Like all other Thundercats, Lion-O possesses great agility, which he uses to his advantage in battles. He's also very brave and virtuous. He's ready to face any danger when defending his friends and allies. He's also quite intelligent, often using his wits to trick his enemies into submission and stopping their evil schemes. He often prefers to avoid violence when trying to solve any problems or defuse any threats. So He-Man and Lion-O both, they're not going to escalate. But, Lion-O's lack of maturity is his greatest weakness. Due to his still childlike mind, Lion-O can be impetuous at times and often acts in haste and anger without properly thinking about the consequences. Which is why I think it's weird that he's childish, but he still, doesn't like to solve... That doesn't seem like it makes sense. Like, he doesn't solve problems with violence.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of counterintuitive there. Also, his curiosity often makes him end up in trouble because he's a cat. You all right?
There was a very loud bang over here, and I don't... Things happen by this window, and it shouldn't, because I'm 14 floors up.
Like all Thundercats, Thundranium has a severely weakening effect on Lion-O. Cool. The image of Thundera exploding is one that often haunts Lion-O. It's a memory that has left a deep impact on him. Don't know what any of that means. He carries with him the legendary Sword of Omens, which contains the Eye of Thundera, the source of the Thundercats' power. With this, he's able to counter almost any weapon that his enemies may attack him with, and the sword allows Lion-O to summon his friends as well as give him sight beyond sight and warn him if any of his friends are in danger. He also carries the Claw Shield on his waist. It's extremely strong and capable of blocking any sort of enemy fire. Who gives a shit? He's also a substantially good driver and can often be seen driving the Thunder Tank.
Yeah, definitely a good driver.
Yeah. So I think He-Man wins this easily.
Look, if He-Man's got a spray bottle, it's game over.
I feel like with Lion-O's childlike mind, I don't think he's going to be very tactical.
Okay. Yeah,
And-
that's fair.
First of all, these guys are written like 80s children's cartoons in that they're
Absolutely.
basically very overpowered. He's got a thing that can counter almost any attack. And he's got a shield that allows him to protect him from blah, 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 blah. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense.
They're like DCOP.
Yeah. But the thing is, we don't see, He-Man has superhuman strength. He's got superhuman reflexes. He's got, leadership and his sword of power and is able to create a human tornado.
Lion-O seems to be just strong and probably agile because he's a cat.
Yeah. But I feel like he could be tricked. I feel like he could be baited. It says while he doesn't, he tries not to solve anything. I think he could be, he can act in haste and anger. I think he'd be easy to manipulate. And I think He-Man would take that and use it against him. And I think he would smash him.
I'll say this too. I mean, He-Man is master of the universe.
Right.
So, there's that too.
Yeah, I agree.
Does Lion-O have that on his CV? He doesn't.
Sure doesn't. Sure
Nope.
don't.
Look, we've seen Lion-O do some impressive things with the Thundercats. He's faced some formidable foes, but fucking He-Man, man.
His sword is also really weird. Like Lion-O's
His sword grows.
Yeah.
The sword grows.
Not unlike jousting or genital jousting. In that game. That happens
There you
too.
go. Which again, I feel like you put He-Man in there, and now we've got a battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
But the thing is, if you just looking at the two of them, like their physiology standing next to each other, He-Man's got it.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Lion-O versus He-Man. I just have to see if I can find a picture of the two of them standing next to each other.
I'm sorry. I just sent you a.
Whoa!
What?
There's a YouTube link for a channel called Death Battle, and it's He-Man versus Lion-O.
Oh,
Did
boy.
not know that existed.
Oh boy.
We'll have to go back after this and see.
Check the image I just sent you on GChat and tell me that guy just looks like he's gonna lose. All right. without a doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt, he's gonna lose.
Where is Doug's G-chat image? He's got like the coked out eyes. He's got.
I want to see if I can somehow bring this over to. Give me 1 second here. I want to see if I can do this for everyone that's watching right now. Because
You want me to just hold my phone up to the camera?
no, wait, what did you just say?
Hold my phone up to the camera like this.
Yeah, there you go. Oh no, a little bit over. There you go. A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. Look at that guy. Look at him. He's like, ah! What are you doing in my litter box? This is mine. Look at that. That's insane. Just check the Discord for both of them together. Oh, did you already drop them in the Discord?
My goodness.
Oh, no, I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Oh, did Jared pull another? Don't click on
No,
anything.
this is Slotty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, man. I gotta give it to He-Man. Look, Lionel would probably. I'll say this. I bet you Lionel puts up a good battle. But at the end of the day, it's just I feel like He-Man is He-Man's the victor.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's He-Man for the win.
He-Man for the win! Boo, 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 boo.
Boo, 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 boo. Yeah, that was what it was. Also, quick memory I have of Thundercats. Both of these franchises, I played with the toys, didn't follow the stories, don't have much memory of them. But I do remember one thing about the Thundercats. And when I think of Thundercats, I think of cat piss. And here's why. I used to have a very elaborate Thundercats castle that with all the figurines, and it was in my basement, and my cat pissed all over it. So whenever I wanted to go play with those toys in that castle, it always smelled like cat piss. So it's just that when I think of Thundercats, I think of cat piss. That's just my story for you. Thanks, Abner the cat. My mom named him
Abner the cat. There
Abner,
you go.
yeah.
Here's the thing. Yes, like Slotty said, full immersion. That that is what the Thundercats layers smelled like. It was just cat piss.
Of course.
Yes.
Even if they had indoor plumbing, which they obviously didn't, it would still reek in there all the time.
Absolutely. So your cat was just really giving you the full feeling of playing Thundercats.
I mean, my cat Abner wanted it. He's like, "This is mine." Psst.
Right. He's like, I get this. This speaks to my story.
That's right. This is my story. Lionel, these balls, you know?
Am I right? Abner had a weird way of talking. Old Abner.
Sound like Todd Hammer for some reason. I don't know. It was really weird.
He was.
Anyway,
We're doing a Thundercats remake. I've got the perfect person for you. Have you seen Abner the cat?
he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck about anything.
He could play a Lionel or Panthera. Panthera? I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of pantheons, you know?
I was watching Small Wonder in the 80s.
Well, Justin, for this week, what do we got? What do you got to recommend?
You know what? I'm going to recommend Small Wonder. Go check that out. Such a good show. Not creepy in the slightest. I would actually say Mythic Quest Season 2 on Apple TV Plus. It is Season 2's so far proven to be pretty good. I really liked the first season. Doug, did you ever watch that season or not?
No.
No? Okay. I do think you would like it because I understand a lot of the jokes. I think there are jokes that are definitely going over my head because I'm not a gamer that I think you would truly appreciate. It's one of those shows that I think they did their kind of like Silicon Valley did, where
Sure.
They had programmers come in and consult on the script.
Yeah.
I almost guarantee you they have gamers coming in to consult on this script because it gets real deep into MMOs. So Mythic Quest Season 2 is currently being released every Friday. And then again, check out Ted Lasso. While you're over on Apple TV Plus, check out Ted.
Check
Dougie, what do you got?
out Ted. I'm late to the game on this one, but I definitely recommend the anime series called Demon Slayer. It's currently only has one season, and it's on Netflix. It's really cool. Essentially follows a boy whose entire family gets slaughtered by a demon, and his sister actually becomes a demon, and he does his best to try and save her. and he learns the ways of the demon slayers and how to fight them, and it's actually pretty cool. There's some elements of it that I find annoying, but all in all, it's beautifully drawn. The story's pretty fun, and it's got some really cool anime tropes that I enjoy. So you can check that out on Netflix now. I think it's 26 episodes in their season. And they just actually had a movie that came out that sort of like is the next part of the story, which I haven't seen, but I've heard good things about it. So y'all can check that shit out. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can also check out Mind Gap on all of our social medias at Mind Gap Podcast. Also, don't forget to check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/MindGapPodcast. Drop us a follow there. Turn on the notification to know whenever we go live. We typically record all of our podcasts Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Central, and we do our live video game streams Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central as well. Also, don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button, and you can watch all of our episodes there, as well as any highlights from our shows and our streams. And don't forget to follow Justin as well.
On Instagram and Twitter at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it while you're in the online realm. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Samsung Podcasts, all the places where you can find them and consume them. And while you're there, share us, rate us, review us, subscribe, all the things we asked at the top of the show. The big one is sharing, means a lot to us. And then 2east8th.com/mindgap and 2east8th in general. That's 2east8th. Find us on the social medias and keep an eye out for some good shit.
Good shit is coming. Y'all heard it here. Y'all better listen. All right. That being said, thank you all for hanging out with us. And, really, honestly, Justin, thank you.
Doug, I mean this. I say this, but I mean this. Thank you.
And I say, Twitch, thank you, especially Limited Rolo. Thank you for asking questions. It's always a pleasure to have you around.
And listeners, thank you. But thank you more if you would come and be Twitch fans as well. But thank you anyways.
Yes, and you all have a dandy fucking week.
Mind Gap Podcast.